Well, hi there, everybody. My name is Tim Hanlon. I am the founder and CEO of the Vertere Group in Chicago, a consultancy that's focused on all things media, technology, and advertising. Former agency guy in the various media and digital agencies of Publicis Group and Interpublic Group, former ventures founder in each of those places, working with tons of startups for many, many years. And now, among other things, the chief proprietor of the relatively new vertical here at TV Rev, we like to call Proximity, and it's focused on all things local television and video in particular, but not exclusively. We try to sort of deal with some of the issues relating to content and programming and advertising, the various challenges and opportunities within. And our little attempt at a podcast, our first ever, hopefully a bit of an ongoing thing here, but we're honored to have Jim Wilson, the newly installed president of Madhive, to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on. As you may know, Madhive is the local CTV streaming ad tech player that has been around for a handful of years and was the powering engine for one of Jim's previous stops in local media. You may know him from various out-of-home and digital out-of-home exploits, but a lot of people know Jim from his time just a few years ago at Premion, basically helping create and stand up that practice at Tegna. And the Premion became essentially kind of the blueprint for audience reach extension for local television stations. And the timing of Jim's arrival here at Madhive, about a year or so after Goldman Sachs pumped in about $300 million investment, we are now seeing some of the evolution of Madhive into doubling down, shall we say, into the local video and, frankly, omni-channel space. As we'll hear in our conversation coming up with Jim, we'll talk about a whole bunch of things. The idea of broadening the proposition of Madhive from simply just an audience reach extension vehicle for local television stations into CTV, but into all kinds of local channels, omni-channel, let's call it, including the recently announced, just this week as we record this, acquisition of a company called Frequence, which you in the traditional local ad sales world may know as an ad sales workflow software and services provider for local media companies, arguably not so much in the CTV streaming space, but a beautiful connection between two sort of dynamics of goodness in local, and putting together those streaming opportunities that Madhive has perfected over the years, as well as Frequence's capabilities in lots of other touch points in local media, makes for a very intriguing combination for sure as Madhive continues to grow and go after a much more polyglot and comprehensive local ad sales proposition. So let's get to our conversation we had just a couple of days ago. Here's me and Jim Wilson talking about all things Madhive, what is going on now, what his vision for the company is, as well as what to look forward to in the weeks and months ahead. Please enjoy. Nice to see you again. How are things?
Things are great. Things are settling in here, and life is good. It's about to be summer in New York.
So let's maybe set the stage a little bit here, because I think a lot of people know you and credit you as being sort of the guy who basically helped create the whole CTV ad reach extension model when you were at Premion. So maybe a little bit of background on that story and perhaps how that brought you to the journey that is now your next chapter with Madhive.
Yeah, I think Premion was a great opportunity. Had the opportunity to build a great team and tackle a up and coming advertising format. CTV was really starting to launch. It was a highly fragmented business, and I've long been a fan of local. I grew up in a local business. Happy to talk about that and how that's affected me. And I also ran TouchTunes prior to Premion and got a really good sense for local. I have done 2 stints in out of home, which is inherently local. I really like the local market. The local market is always growing. And I believe that advertisers, whether they are local advertisers or whether they're national advertisers, they're really looking to deliver messages to consumers where they are. So a consumer in, Northern Virginia could get one ad, and maybe somebody in Bethesda gets another, but they're getting them at the same time. And so as I think the world becomes increasingly local, uh, Premion was a really great opportunity to begin to think about bringing new product to local advertisers. I've always thought that broadcasters are companies that provide local information and content and promote local businesses. And so the opportunity to bring a new product to local businesses was a great opportunity at Premion. And at the time, it really was about how can you bring a fragmented market to a fragmented market. And that's changed over time, obviously, over the last couple of years. The demand side's still fragmented, but the supply side is consolidated. And so as I step into Madhive, I'm stepping into a different market than I was in when I was at Premium.
But the challenge, though, of the Premium model, right, which is, I think, instructive for what we're going to talk about with Madhive going forward, right, is that in enabling local broadcasters, right, this idea of being able to go more granular and truly more local within a marketplace, right, is unique because in many respects, the local broadcasters have been targeted yet broad within their markets, right? So in essence, there's a lot of sort of a learning curve to help them get into much more targeted intra DMA, if you will, opportunities, courtesy of CTV and the other sort of permutations that come about. So maybe a little bit about the challenge of that, because I think the history of the local broadcaster is they're the kings of their local markets, and rightly so historically, but their ability to sort of sub-target or get more granular within that local framework has always been challenged or, frankly, ignored.
Right. Look, I think Premion and Tegna have done an exceptional job from the beginning. I think the support at the highest levels across Tegna for Premion and its mission was a key to success there. I think the sales leadership across the stations was a key to success there. I think it continues to be. It's got great new leadership, and I think it has a great model, and that model is rooted in educating not only their sales forces on how to take this product to market, but it's also rooted in educating and listening to clients and what their client needs are. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I've been making products for 30 years in my life. And so I'm always going to be a consumer, customer informed product person. And I think that the model is about working in local markets. They're trusted in their local markets, they're educating in their local markets, and they're bringing products and services and to local advertisers to give them the opportunity to promote their businesses. And so they walk in with, yes, linear, which I still think is obviously extremely important product for them, but now they sort of transform their offering, right? Because that screen on the wall, you're just changing outputs. And, there was, obviously a sort of a little bit of a learning curve going from selling ratings to selling impressions, but we
Sure.
spent a lot of time on that. And I think, again, with the support, we see this across all of our enterprise partners. I think I look at our broadcasters as our route to get to the local markets. I think there's a great marriage between Madhive and its broadcast partners, because the broadcast partners are a great route and a great partner in getting down to local. And I've just got this passion for local because I want to be able to deliver products and services to local advertisers. And again, you always want to deliver the right message to the right person at the right time in the right location. And I think Madhive is on that journey as well.
So let's talk about then more explicitly Madhive, right? So a lot of what Madhive has done to date has been to be a powering agent, if you will, for ostensibly, not exclusively, but largely local broadcasters, and helping them extend their reach into connected TV audiences and digital video and potentially some other things, right? Which feels to me like you're stepping into
sort of that next phase of that evolution? Maybe a little bit of a background, I guess, as to what Madhive has been versus where you're kind of sort of taking it next level.
Yeah, again, Madhive, as you know, a lot of people will say was built for local, right? Built from the ground up, built from local, partnered with them at Premion. Spent a lot of time when I first got to Premion looking around the marketplace to see who could we work with from a technology standpoint, met all the technology players, and really couldn't find one that was purpose-built for local that could do and deliver the efficiency for local and deliver the targeting down into local. And so, I think over the years, Madhive has sort of obviously built the table stakes for that. If you're gonna be good at something, you really need to be efficient. What Madhive has transitioned to is building out its own data marketplace to make local data more efficient, and then to look at client-facing products and like what's important to our clients. And so I'm a B2B to C person, right? So even though we work with enterprise broadcast partners, I'm always thinking about what is the client at local looking for, ultimately what they touch and feel, the report, the delivery, the outcomes, the footfall, whatever we're doing, that's the product that they see. So ultimately, what we're continuing to evolve to is one, we've made it easy, efficient, cost effective, and now we're moving to ROI and we're moving toward outcomes. And we're also realizing that although CTV is still a high growth and increasingly important market vis-a-vis other platforms, it exists within other platforms. And if I've learned anything in running either a CTV business or an out-of-home business, you can't think about them in isolation. You have to think about them in a multi-channel or omni-channel way. And I just spent 4 years running an agency in the out-of-home space where I could not have seen that more in terms of, in order to be effective in a single category, you have to be able to think about it and plan and execute it within an omni-channel environment.
So that sounds to me like a reinvention or rethinking or augmentation of what brought Madhive to the table in the first place, right? That sounds a lot more than just CTV reach extension for local broadcast stations. I'm hearing multiple other possible and or opportunistic touch points. I'm hearing in my head things like retail media, commerce media, interplay between, say, CTV and that, maybe all of those things, and maybe perhaps even maybe fueling the strategy for your local broadcast providers who maybe haven't been moving as quickly into all of those areas that those marketers truly want and could benefit from somebody leading that charge, if you will, for them on their behalf.
So whether it's Madhive or any of its broadcast partners, what we're looking to do is continue to bring CTV as a product to the market, but think about it in a world of local, and local is multiple touch points. And one of the areas that I'm really excited about, and I was doing some work in my last role, is around customer or consumer journeys or path to purchase. We could be serving ads into a living room and then taking those ads and measuring footfall or measuring some other KPI or outcome that our clients want to. The opportunity to take CTV, connect it with retail media that you brought up, or digital out of home, which I like to call the last mile between the home and retail media, where 85% of purchases are still made. We don't think that's the case, but it's true. There's a really great opportunity to be thinking more strategically about how you put them together. And as I said earlier, if you're working with one platform, you really need to think about it in an omnichannel way, plan in an omnichannel way, and deliver outcomes in a way that it's really efficient and feel like they're very cohesive for a client so that they can really measure their ROI.
In many respects, then you're setting up Madhive to be the powering agent, to be a one-stop, if you will, omni-channel local solution off the back of the efficiencies of local broadcast and CTV, but this much more polyglot environment of local touch points.
you spend, it's important, obviously. Spend a lot of time with your clients. What are your clients trying to solve for? And, your clients are trying to deliver messages efficiently and they themselves, whether they're a broadcaster or whether an agency, they're trying to win clients too. And so you're bringing something unique to them in their ability to deliver something to local, and you're delivering something that is, again, efficient with ROI, et cetera. What we also hear in the market from our clients is, hey, how do we incorporate this into an overall multi-channel strategy? And we are ourselves looking at how we play in that multi-channel strategy and what tools and products can we bring to them on the front end. And again, as I think I said earlier, clients look at the front end. They look at the workflow tools that you provided them. They look at the reports. They look at, their ability to go in and have levels of control over their campaigns. And that's what we're trying to solve for. So again, as we've evolved as a company and we've grown closer to our partners and we're trying to understand what they're trying to solve for, we think omnichannel, or the ability to provide more front-end products to them, is an important sort of role in our future.
And I suspect that's the driving strategy behind the acquisition of Frequence, correct?
Correct. And so as we were out in the market and listening to our clients about the need for omnichannel workflow, we kept bumping into this company called Frequence, and we met with that team. Absolutely fantastic company that has built itself over the last 13 or 14 years, who really understand the space, who have very like-minded in terms of how they think about client first, building products and solutions, really looking to innovate in the market. And I couldn't think of a better combination for us, because they are rooted in local, we're rooted in local. They are a front end, we have a great back end. And so there's a great marriage here in terms of our ability to now not only go on the channel, but to have front end tools and other front end products that we will continue to further, because the market is going to continue to ask for more and get more sophisticated. And, with Frequence and Madhive combined, we'll have a really great combination of, innovation. And again, I think a team that we're two companies that with the same culture and the same drive and love for local.
Can you outline a little bit, maybe in your mind, where you sort of see the next 6 to 12 months of this new company with this combination, and what might we sort of see from terms of a product, go to market, some new solutions? Just curious as to sort of where the vision that you sort of see in the near term.
Sure. I mean, at first and foremost is take care of your clients and take care of your employees. I've done a number of acquisitions in the past, and so making sure that it comes together seamlessly is job number one. And I think that is making sure that your clients are put first, and the Madhive clients and the Frequence clients, and you know what I mean? And that we're very thoughtful about how it comes together. I think that, Madhive has a great product and will continue to evolve. We will not lose sight of the innovation that we think will need to continue in the CTV space, and how we think about it vis-a-vis linear, or how we think about it vis-a-vis digital, and now how about we think about it vis-a-vis other channels. So I think, and then Frequence obviously has a similar customer base. So there's a really sort of great complement in terms of customer bases. And then how do we think about our current clients? Again, first and foremost, how do we think about them vis-a-vis the front end products that they have, and the back end platform and products that we built, and the front end products that we built? And so a lot of it's going to be about how we bring those two together. And then, again, talking to our clients and thinking through, I think that there are really exciting initial opportunities from a multi-channel standpoint in terms of thinking about product mixes, customer journeys, also opening up new markets together, or going out and being a total solution for, an independent agency, or again, in conjunction with our enterprise partners, and or bringing new products and opportunities to our enterprise partners.
All right, so last question, and thank you. This has been terrific. What I'm still hearing, though, is a very sort of white label powering based approach, right? Where the local brands, whether that be stations or other entities, frankly, other heritage local brands out there that bring audiences and opportunities together. Is there ever a scenario where you might go more direct to clients per se, or are you more of a believer in the power of those local brands and enhancing their propositions with all the sort of back end goodness that you guys are providing, at least for now?
I mean, we've done both. Frequency has done both. And so, I think we are always going to seek to be great partners with our broadcast enterprise clients and enable them in their local markets and enable them for the clients that they're working with. First and foremost, I think we are that. I think to the extent that we can and will look at agencies and brand direct, Frequency is already in that business. Madhive is also in that business already, to the extent that it doesn't create any channel conflict with any of our broadcast partners. At the end of the day, I, want to map the total market. I want to look at all the opportunities in the market, whether they're national or regional independents or local advertisers or brands that are managing their marketing directly. I want to look at all of them and provide a platform that will, have a significant feature set and in some ways could be customized to what they're doing. And so I think we'll always think about doing that.
Do you see an opportunity in perhaps enabling, helping, aiding, let's call them national streamers into the local opportunity and marketplace, right? So the argument can be made, right, that local television station brands and local media companies, right, should be capable, perhaps through auspices like yours, to become sort of the kings of all of the local stuff across, omnichannel and whatnot. But we also have a world of streamers, right? The Netflixes of the world and the Paramount Pluses of the world, et cetera, that are feeling their way through the ad support thing, right? And probably, I would argue, are mostly national, if you will, in orientation, and perhaps maybe can speak to the local thing by saying zip+4 clusters, right? But it's much more sophisticated than that, the local proposition, right? I'm wondering if you sort of see the opportunity to help that sort of top-down dynamic with the entree or the concierging, if you will, into local, which is a much more, as you said before, sophisticated and increasingly complex omni-channel proposition. It seems to me like there's a real opportunity to help soft land those national streaming ad propositions down into really intelligent local propositions.
It's an excellent question. First of all, I have a long history in working with a number of the streamers back in the day when, there was this little company called Tubi or this little company called Pluto. Felt like we were probably writing one of their biggest checks and bringing them to market. And congrats to all of them for their growth and success ever since. And so I do believe that there is an opportunity for that reason and for another reason, which is, broadcasters have their owned and operated inventory, right? They are building out their own streaming devices and their own streaming services. And so we are helping them monetize owned and operated inventory. I mean, yes, Fox bought Tubi, but Fox also has a lot of other streaming content that's Fox branded, and Scripps has that, and Univision has that, and so we're very much focused on enabling them and helping them monetize that. We know that's important for most broadcasters to monetize their own inventory, probably before monetizing somebody else's inventory, and then they augment with other inventory that fits their audience or reaches the audiences or delivers the outcomes that they're looking for, and we can help that. So we can take and monetize owned and operated inventory along with additional inventory to maximize reach, frequency, outcomes, and results. And so I think about other streamers, large streamers, who aren't necessarily built for or thinking about local as much as we do. And again, when I first showed up to content players, whether it was Discovery or Fox back in the day, we were literally handing them found money. They weren't really getting a lot of local dollars. Now, some of those big streamers have local boots on the ground, but they still may need a platform for monetization. And so I believe that we not only have a platform for monetization, we have built out Madhive's data marketplace. So we have a great, data marketplace for them to access that also has a lot of efficiency. We have a lot of tools. We have a lot of front end products. We have the ability to go hands on. We have all types of products for them that we can put into their hands for them to maximize local within their larger streaming platform. Again, that could be a large streamer that doesn't have access to a local sales force. We'll help them because we have access to multiple large sales forces, or one that has its own local sales force, but really needs an infrastructure to run their business, service their clients, and optimize the local dollars.
Well, interesting. And my only point with that is, interestingly, you could be the solve for the thorny issues of affiliate station relationships and owned and operated stations within the bowels of a streaming operator, right? So a Paramount Plus or a Peacock, right? Where that line of demarcation and or integration doesn't exist, right? Where how that streaming can really be best optimized between the national brands of such and the local outputs of such, right? Where right now it just seems like they're all corporately hodgepodges of each other, and they're all trying to maximize their own little pieces of inventory. It seems to me almost elegantly set up for you to potentially be that piping that could maybe bring that together, maybe give folks who are struggling with what an affiliate model looks like going forward some reason, some strategy as to what that could be.
Absolutely. So again, enabling a platform with infrastructure to monetize for their owned and operated sales forces with their owned and operated inventory. Some of the companies that you've mentioned, great companies, great people, but also just other streamers that lack that and are looking for the ability to manage their local inventory or manage for local, but also looking for the monetization part that we can bring to them. I think everyone can get that from us, though. And I think that's the beauty of the broadcaster relationships. They're a great route to local. They're fantastic companies, again, with a history of servicing local communities. And it's great to be a partner with them because together we're able to work with local advertisers or take national advertisers and tailor their messages down to local. Because I believe selfishly that that's sort of the future of advertising, is to really get down and deliver the right message to the right person at the right time and even in the right location.
No, and I think they're also eager, right, to elevate their game into those spaces, which are historically not their raison d'etre, right? So
again, I mentioned at the very beginning, I come from a small business family, an automotive family, a father who advertised on radio stations, and local advertisers are smart with their dollars and they're looking for innovation. And I'm telling you, some of the greatest challenges I've ever seen have come from local advertisers. And I just think back on growing up in a family business in the automotive side, my dad going down to the TV stations and basically negotiating his advertising. It was an absolutely wonderful experience growing up, seeing that, but also living what it is like to take your dollars as a small business and make sure that you get them to work as efficiently as you can.
thank you. This has been great.